So we're at the point of the semester where I want to start having a little bit more fun with this medium of the web and seeing what kind of creative things that we can do. Here's one little example of we've used a depreciated tag and we've used it to style and make part of the text disappear and then come back once I hover over it. So this can be an interesting way to build interactivity onto one of your pages. I'm going to move over here to a page where I have just the preliminary setup. So all I have is a single div on my page, and in my div I had 2 paragraphs. Each paragraph has 2 sentences that I then converted into list items. So if we look over here in the code view, I have one unordered list, and inside of each unordered list I have, inside of the unordered list I have 2 list items. Each one has 2 sentences. So to get this trick to work, I'm going to use the depreciated italics tag. I can't use the tag that I would get if I used the properties inspector to make my text italics, because that's going to be the EM tag, and I don't want to use that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the text that I want to disappear in the I tag. This is the text that's going to appear in the box when I hover over the other text. So that's my second sentence. So now my second sentence here is wrapped in the I tag. I'm going to go to my next list item and do the same thing. The I tag at the start and put the I tag at the end, but before my closing list item. And now I'm going to make each list item into a link. Over here in the design view, you can see that the second sentence is italicized. So I'm going to select one sentence, go to my link field in my properties inspector and put in the hashtag. And repeat the same with the second list item. So now I can start styling it. I'm going to write a rule that says if you're in the main and you are within the UL, I'm going to give it a list style type of none to get rid of the bullets. Click over here and the bullets are gone. Now these are within the ULs and within the LIs, but they're ultimately links, so that's what I'm going to use to style to change their color. So I'm going to write a rule that says if you're in the main and you're within UL and you're within LI and you have the A link, then what I want is color white and text decoration none to get rid of the underline. Put that at none. Let's look over here, click over here, and so now that's styled. So the next one is going to be very specific. It's going to target that I link, or the I tag. But I'm going to write everything else out first. So I'm going to say if you're in the main and you have a UL around you, and an LI, and the link, and an I, so it's very, very specific. What I want is to display none, and that's going to make it disappear. So it's display none, it's gone. All right, so we're halfway there. Now the next thing is how do we get it to come back? We're going to get it to come back by writing a rule that says if you're in the main, and in a UL, and in an LI, and when you're in the A hover state, that's when the mouse goes over, anything with the I tag, I want you to display block, and that's going to bring it back. So block is like making it into a physical object now, and so it's an actual space. I want you to display block. So this isn't going to work yet because we haven't set its position. But before we get into the absolute position, which is what we had over here, so I have it positioned using absolute, just position it over to the left. Just find it here, positioning it to the left and to the top, 50 pixels. The next thing I need to do is I need to, if I'm going to use absolute position, set something else to have relative position. So we're going to try experimenting with changing what's going to have the relative. Let's just start off with the main. And we're going to put position, relative. And so now we can go to this one when we're displaying it in a block, and we're going to put position, absolute, and we'll say left 150 px, and I think it was top. I'll just check over what I did on the other one. Top 50 px, and let's also give it a width of 300 pixels. We'll give it padding as well of 20 pixels and a background color, so we can add all the styles that we want to it. And I'll give it yellow. Okay, now let's just test this out. Switch over to the live view. And so now here it is appearing below. So since I set my main div to relative, I can see that what happens is that each box appears at the same spot. So first I'm up here and the first line appears, then I'm down here, the second line appears, because it's this absolute position is always in relationship to something else that's not moving, which is this box, my div. What if I set the relative position actually on these lines of text here? So then the box is going to move, because first my mouse will be up here, and then it'll be 150 pixels away. And when my mouse is here, it'll be 150 pixels away. So let's just go and see the difference there. I'm going to take that position relative out of the main, and instead I'll put it on the link, those are the actual text. And let's switch back over to live. So there's my first box, and there's my second one, and it moves down. So it's really up to you. I just wanted to point out that that position relative doesn't have to necessarily be on the div. It could also be on the text. So this was setting it to be 150 pixels from the top. That brings it down. And then, oh, sorry, let me go back over. That was setting it to be 50 pixels from the top and 150 pixels over from the left. Okay, so let's see where you can bring this practice and what kind of interesting things you can do with it.